Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has arrived in Malaysia, starting his tour of Southeast Asia. This is his first trip overseas for specifically bilateral talks since taking office in October last year. Mr. Ishiba is set to meet Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim tomorrow to discuss economic and defence cooperation. CNA's Melissa Goh with this report.
It's the first official visit by Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba since he took office last October. And the fact that he picked Malaysia is no surprise to many because Malaysia is the ASEAN chair this year. And Prime Minister Anwar met him on the sidelines of APEC summit in Peru last year and extended an invitation for him to visit Kuala Lumpur. Now this as Malaysia is embarking on digital transformation to spur growth through green investment and energy transition. Now although Japan only upgraded its status as comprehensive strategic partner with Malaysia end of 2023, its involvement in the country's development, especially in the push for industrialization, started way back in the early 80s during the tenure of former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad under the Look East policy. Now, Japanese companies from Toyota, Mitsubishi, and Panasonic were among the early investors in the automotive and E&E sectors. Now, Japan has helped train many engineers in Malaysia and contributed in the country's capacity building in disaster relief and maritime safety and security. But in the last 2 decades, it's been somewhat overshadowed by the rise of China and the multi-billion-dollar projects under the Belt Road initiatives, so much so that Malaysia is seen as leaning towards China by some. Now, although Prime Minister Anwar has maintained that Malaysia is non-aligned and fiercely independent and will trade and do business with everyone, now Japan has consistently ranked among the top 5 foreign investors in Malaysia, and in fact, Japan is Malaysia's 4th largest trading partner. Total trade exceeded $30 billion last year, and Malaysia under Prime Minister Anwar wants to build on that partnership and continue drive more trade and investment, and with Japan in particular in digital transformations and in energy transition. Now, speaking at the National Economic Forum earlier, Mr. Anwar revealed that the East Malaysian state of Sarawak has big plans to become a regional hub for renewable energy, and Japan can help. Now, he will be discussing with Prime Minister Ishiba together with Sarawak Premier Abang Johari Openg and the national and state oil companies.
Dan kita akan bicara beberapa isu pelaburan, perdagangan, dan juga suatu rencana baru yang sangat kritikal dari segi peralihan tenaga. Atas ikhtiar Premier Sarawak Abang Jo sama Petros dan kerjasama Petronas, dan kita harap dalam perbincangan itu akan mencana menjadikan Malaysia, khususnya Sarawak, sebagai hub tenaga bagi rantau ini.
Sarawak has an oversupply of hydroelectric and is using it to produce green hydrogen. Now, several Japanese companies have already invested in Sarawak, from solar to hydro. Then the problem is connecting to the grid, how to move extra hydro capacity to demand centers and make it affordable and hopefully benefit Malaysia and ASEAN as a whole. Now, Japanese Prime Minister Mr. Ishiba, in an interview with local media ahead of his trip, has said that he wants to help Malaysia and ASEAN to decarbonize and create carbon credits to meet the net zero target by 2030. Now, amid an ever-changing geopolitical landscape and increased trade tensions between US and China, Japan would want to strengthen its economic and trade ties in this part of the world and tighten security cooperation in Southeast Asia with Malaysia in particular as ASEAN chair to ensure the region remains open and free. Melissa Goh, CNA, Kuala Lumpur.